Good afternoon, everyone. Here we are in Koningsborn, and we just seen our committee boat just arrive, Mulligan, and Martin Payne and Nino Schmueli super happy that they're going to be in this beautiful boat to manage the racing, these World Championships here in Koningsborn starting next Monday. So, as I mentioned yesterday, and we had 3 requests, excuse me, for me to talk about some things on board. We had Mark Block, and we'll go first on that. He asked me to talk a little bit about the shrouds and how I set the shrouds, and then we also had Martin Byrne asking about the batteries and the pumps, how to keep them and how to maintain all that. We'll do that tomorrow. And we also had Max Dozer asking me about setting up the jumpers. So let's go. I'm going to show you how we're going to do the shrouds. Come on, yes, you can move quicker. And here we are. Here we have our lovely boat and the shrouds here. So what I normally do, there's many ways to set up your shrouds. There's many professionals that will set up their rig a different way, with different ideas. I'm just going to explain how I do it. If you manage it the way I do, it will always end up to be the same numbers as you will see on a tuning guide. But I will explain a little bit how you look at the mast and you see how it works. So first of all, mast is on the further back position, and normally I would like the caps, so the shrouds that go all the way up, caps to be in line with the mast. Okay, so that's first thing. So we can adjust here the shrouds on the V6. We can actually do it from the top. On the V5 we had different holes, but now if we just unscrew this one, it's a sliding piece here inside that we can just move and put the screw here in the back or in the front if you want to move just half a hole. So this is also a new feature from the V6. So what do I look at when I'm trying to set up the mast? So you start setting up wind, and the first thing you want to do is look up the mast and see if it's straight or not. And one of the information we've got from looking at what you're doing here is the leeward shroud, because the leeward shroud is always loose. Yeah, so that means if the leeward shroud is always loose, so that means that basically the mast is always falling out of the boat a little bit, because the windward shroud, let's say we're on port deck and this is tight, this is windward shroud, this is leeward shroud, this will be force and attention. Leeward shroud will be loose, you don't want it to be too loose, so you will end up looking at the mast and seeing how much the mast is falling over the side, and you will want to tighten up the shrouds so the mast is not pretty much straight, but just falling a little bit. So your information is leeward shroud has to be moving a little bit. Of course, now it's tight because there's no sail, there's no load. But when you're sailing, this is moving quite a little bit, and that's also very good because if you have actually loose, let's say we're going to sail flat water, yeah, and so you want to sail flat sails. So to actually make the genoa flatter, if you have less tension on the shrouds, that means the leeward shroud will be a lot looser, and we'll be able to actually bring the genoa further in, because the shroud is going to bend because it's loose, it's totally out of tension. So then you can have the genoa further in. That will make the genoa flatter. Yeah, but normally a standard setting is you want the shroud a little bit loose, not too much, a little bit loose. Yeah, and then you will trim the lowers for the mast to be on a nice and straight all the way to the top. Yeah? So if you do that, you will end up seeing numbers on the shrouds that are corresponding to most tuning guides. For example, if it's blowing, if it's light winds, let's say up to 8 knots, you will be measuring about 12 on the tension on the loose gauge tension, about 12, and if you go sailing with 12, you will see that the shroud is moving. If you have, let's say, 16 and it's 8 knots, then you will see the leeward shroud will not be very slack. It will be very tight. So that means 16 is too much. Yeah. If you sail, let's say, if you're sailing 20 knots and you have 12 or 13 on the shrouds, wow, the leeward cap is going to be totally loose. You know, so you don't want that, because you want the mast to be a little bit stable, and so you'll be using about 18. What I use on the shrouds, from 12 to 20, something like that, and gradually as the wind builds. So regarding shrouds, that's it. Well, I can also say something about the position of the shrouds that I didn't say before. Normally I use it in line with the mast, yeah, but if let's say the shrouds are forward of the mast, that means that when we pull the runners in the back, if we pull the mast back, we are going to be putting more tension on it, and if we lose it, some people find it an advantage. Well, like I said, many different ways to trim your shrouds. This is how I do it. So thank you for watching. Tomorrow I'll be talking about the bilge pump. Maybe tomorrow I'll do a video about the bilge and the jumpers, because there's a little bit shorter subject, and if there's any more suggestions for next day, we will appreciate. Well, thank you for everything. Have a nice day, and I'll see you again tomorrow.